Hi, so before we get started, I'd just like to ask you, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel, and also at the end of the video, please consider give it a thumbs up if you found it useful. Also, leave a comment below on ways to and suggestions and ways to improve this video moving forward. Let's go. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you the powerful features of code completion that Intellij IDEA 2019.1 supports. So the example that we're going to be running here will be a library of books. So I've got this simple database of books here, and we're going to be loading these books onto a library object against which we will be running very simple query using the Streams API. So as we work along this very simple example, I will be demonstrating the powerful code completion features of Intellij IDEA. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is to create our main domain object, which is the book object. So if you go to the project window and you type Alt Insert, then you're going to have the option to create a class. And in here, if you put the fully qualified class name, then Intellij will create the package as well if it doesn't exist. So if I type craft of programming .book, then this package this class book is going to be created, and the package as well is going to be created because it doesn't exist. So now let's add attributes to our main domain book object. So let's go to the project viewer, open the books CSV, and let me just split this up so that we know the attributes that we need. Let's maximize that. First, what I want to add is let's add the book title, page count, book title, publication year, and then the authors. And so because I'm the context of the class here, as soon as I type the first letter, then I have the appropriate keywords for this context, and then I want the fields to be final. So again, I have the final option here, and now I want a string to represent the title. And here, if I type Control Shift Enter, then the statement is complete. And if I type again Control Shift Enter, then I move to the next line. So again, I can add the next field, which is going to be the page count, which is an int. And again, I just do this and do this again, then private final. I'm going to select a year object, and notice that Intellij automatically imported the type. Let's use the year for the publication date, and then again smart code completion, Control Shift Enter, sorry, complete statement. And let's add another attribute for the topic, which is, let's just create an enum called topic. Okay, and let's actually swap out those two. And then the last one will be again, just type the first letter and keep completing the sentence. And let's just do I don't know, a list of strings for the authors, and just type Alt Enter, and let's call these authors, if I know how to spell authors. Okay, so now let's fix some things here. So the first thing is the topic is in red because Intellij doesn't know about this type. You just type Enter, and Intellij gives you the option of what you want. So in this particular case, I want it to be an enum, so I take this. It asks me where I want to create this type in the same package. Then, and I'm taking to the enum. let's add our to prevent some typings here, let's just go to the book CSV and copy. So we have a computing, and then the next one is going to be a sci-fi. The next one is a finance topic, and the next one is it's a novel. Okay, so we have all our topics here. So let's go back to our book class and continue. Now the next thing that obviously we need to do here is let's add a constructor. So you just do generate a constructor, just do Alt Insert, and Intellij gives you these options here. So just click Constructor, and we obviously want all of these fields. So you just press OK, and perhaps let's just close this. So now we have our constructor that matches our fields. Let me just change this to be a var args, and now this is in error, and let's just press Alt Enter and take the suggestion that Intellij is offering you. Okay, now we have a constructor. Now let's generate the getters. Let's select all of these fields. So now we have the getters for all of our fields. Let's generate the equals and hash code, and let's select all of these fields. They are already selected, and let's select all of these guys, and let's do finish. So now we have a wonderful equals and hash code method. And lastly, let's generate a toString method with all of these fields. Okay, so now if I collapse this, I've got a toString, an hash code, an equals, and the getters for the attributes or properties of this class. So now that I have the main domain object created, I will now implement a class that is going to load the CSV file onto this book object, and the book objects are then going to be stored onto a library, just going to be a list of books against which we're going to be running a simple query for demo purposes. So if I go here to the project file and I select the project and type Alt Insert Java class, let's call this new type called book DB, and let's just add a public static void main. So this is another powerful feature of Intellij called live templates, and if you go to the settings and you select editor live templates, then they are defined here, public static void main. Now that I have my main method, let's read the CSV. So I'm going to be using a buffered reader. So again, Intellij automatically imports the type for me, and as soon as I start typing, Intellij gives me already an option for code completion that matches for the variable of the buffered reader type. So if I now type smart code completion, then Intellij automatically gives me a factory object that matches that type. So, which is really, really powerful way to do code completion. So in Windows, again, this is Control Shift Space, as opposed to basic code completion, which is Control Space. Use Control Shift Space or smart code completion as often as you can. It's going to be a huge lifesaver, as I just showed you here. So now to load this file, let's use the path factory to get the file, and let's just insert let's just accept this, import the class, and let's source com cost of programming. It's books.csv. Okay, so now if I type Alt Enter, which is to show the intention actions, add the surround with try catch block, or do an add exception to the meta signature, I will surround with try catch. And another thing that I can do is use the surround with try with resources block, so that I don't have here a leak. And if I click here on this try again, then IntelliJ suggests to merge the two try statements, which is really cool. So now that I have the reader, let's read it line by line and parse it onto the book object. So let's use the standard while loop to read it until it's null. So again, I just type W and I already have the suggestion that I want, including the open and close braces. And if I just type true and again use Control Shift Enter, then IntelliJ completes the statement by putting the opening and closing braces. So then I type R and I have the correct variable that I want, which is available in the scope. And if I do dot readline, which is RL, so notice I'm just using the camel case initials, R lowercase and L capital case, and again do Control Shift Enter on Windows for complete statement, then IntelliJ completes the statement for me. Moreover, if I just type Alt Enter now, I have the option to introduce a local variable, which is what I want. And again, IntelliJ suggests the variable name. Let's use a line. Also, another thing I can do is I can split this line and move it out of the while loop by using a Shift Control up in Windows. So I don't want this variable to be final, so let's remove the final modifier. And what I really want to do is move this statement into the while loop. So let's copy it, come here, and let's add it here. So I want to paste this in here, and what I want to do is I want to select and I want to surround these with open and close braces. So see what happens here. See what happened? So, and now I go to the other matching braces and I can do while this is not null, then I'm going to do my work. So this feature here, it's available on Editor General Smart Keys, and it's the surround selection on typing quote or brace. So let's split the line. Split, and we're going to split by commas. Let's assign this to a strings. Let's actually call it tokens. And let's then create a book object using these tokens. So let's start with index 0. And notice one cool thing that I can do here. So I can select these tokens and the comma and just do Control D, 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 D. And I have, if I do Control P here, I know that this constructor takes 5 parameters. And let's just fix, obviously, let's fix the indexes. So another thing that I want to do is, before correcting the types, let me extract a method. So IntelliJ detects that there is a field here which should probably be a parameter of the of the function. So let's accept the signature. And also IntelliJ detects that the same expression is actually being repeated here 4 times. So let's accept all of them. So now we have this method that extracts the token. And now what I want to do here is I want to split, introduce a local variable, which is my token. And essentially what I want to do is, it's another cool thing that you can do in IntelliJ. You just type the variable and you do dot, and then you type null. And this is called postfix expression. And it checks for null, basically, and by introducing an if statement. So basically what I want to do here is just throw a new illegal argument exception. I don't know, just saying that found valid token at index I. So also what I want to do is I want to trim for spaces. Okay, so this method basically extracts the token, detects nulls, and then trims it. So let's just minimize this. Okay, now that we have our method to extract the token, let's just maximize this. So let's just do Control P. The first one is a string is good. So the second argument is an integer or an int. So let's do an integer parse an int to fix this. And the okay. So then the third one is a topic, which is our enum. Let's do value of this. And this guy here, the fourth argument is a year. Again, parse. And the last one, it's good. So it's just basically authors. So now that we have our book correctly created, let's assign to a local variable called book. And what I want to do next is I want to actually create a list of books, which I'm going to call library. And again, if I just type new smart code completion, then IntelliJ gives me the correct type that I want. So if I go back to where I was, then I can just do library add book. Good, complete statement. And lastly, what I'd like to do is just run a very simple query. For example, let's print the titles of the computing books in alphabetical order. So let's get the library and let's get a stream. So let's filter by topic, book, get topic, and we want the topics that are computing. And then let's sort using a comparator. So the comparing function will be the book title. Okay, and then let's just collect this to a list. Okay, complete the statement. Let's just assign this to some variable. So this will be a sorted computing book titles. And now that I have it, again, I'll use the postfix to check for whether it's empty, and if it's not, then print it. So sorted is empty, and then if I type dot, this is again the postfix. Then I'm going to do if. So obviously I want the opposite. If it's not empty, then I'm just going to print it. If you go to main and I run. Good. So now we see here our book titles sorted in alphabetical order. I have the clean code, book, design patterns, and effective Java, and mastering lambdas and refactoring. So this concludes the overview of advanced editing. Thanks for watching.